Yeah, great stuff there. But let's dive into this first little conversation here, man. The interview was fantastic. Everybody was retweeting. I was in Disney. I was like, this is gonna kill me. Y'all have to stop, just because of how much was being shared and whatnot. I was trying to just get clips, but was able to finally sit down and listen to it, man, and had a fun time with it. The comment that I love, man. This look, I know people have their opinions of Josh Pate. I say all do. But man, the guy knows his way around a mic. The guy knows his way how to have a conversation,
Yeah.
and he leads it off with Billy. And this is why I think Billy, he sits down with him because he's CBS, but also just because Pate does a great job of explaining things. But he says Florida had the audacity to compete last year. And it was such a good
Yeah.
explanation and description of what Florida did. Like, literally, you guys really think you have a right to be here after the season, how it started off, right? The
Yeah.
audacity
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
walk into this place and actually go toe-to-toe with LSU and Ole Miss, these teams that are fighting for a playoff spot.
For sure.
And that's like 100% what it was. And yeah, and Napier talks about that entire, just how the team really just buckled down and looked at one another and chose, what was the word that even Billy used? Chose accountability over like pointing the finger, something similar to
Mhm.
that. And just hearing just him speak about this team and again, those guys choosing a path, right? That's a more resistant path to get where they
Right.
are. It was really cool just hearing him talk about the behind the scenes of last year. We saw it from our side. We know how we felt
Mhm.
from what we saw, and the turnaround of what it was. Obviously, it was a start on the defense, but it wasn't like just some kind of like big moment, right? A big aha like touchdown pass that really just kind of, all right, we can do this. It was just a monumental shift that can
Right.
really carry over for
Yeah.
this season and carry over just versus just like a big play.
Yeah. For most people, it seemed like it was overnight, but that's kind of what I saw in the team all along. I was expecting that from the beginning of the season. And what stood out to me in that change, when he said we had audacity, when I heard the players after the Tennessee game, it was Tennessee game, right? Um, when they
Yes.
took the podium, listening to the seniors, the post conference after the
Posted it, yeah.
game, listening to those guys take accountability. They were taking accountability after the game. They weren't blaming the coaches. They were saying is what we got to do. We have to do this. We have to do better at doing this and doing that. And so in that moment, that's it gave me a little relief about Billy because I'm like, okay, I was just there. I seen all the pieces. I seen all this, but I did see a lack in some accountability in some areas, like what I talked about. Uh, Players when they come off the field, if anybody's talking to them, say, "Hey, did you do this, do that?" That self coaching type deal, and they embraced that. You know what I mean? They knew what they needed to fix, and so I kind of saw it right into the UCF game, and I was like, "Oh man, the things that I saw that they need to fix, I knew that it could carry over because I saw the pieces, but them boys turned it on, man, mid season, and it was amazing, bro.
It
It
was.
was amazing.
And watching Napier again, and this is going into his fourth year, and watching, I mean, he's had interviews and discussions, obviously, around this time of year every single year. And it's like watching your kid through school, how they come in as a freshman, right?
So
Kind of
fast,
just
yeah.
big eye, bushy tail, right? Kind of wet behind the ears, excited to be there, very optimistic, hasn't been burned yet, not many gray hairs. The whole world's ahead of him, right? It's just so many opportunities. We're gonna do this great. We've got a great plan. You're confident going in. That was year one, right? Very bubbly. Everyone loved it.
hmm
Year two, little battered, right? But not not as not as definitely not as excited, more of kind of gritty. And it literally you see it growing as a true person, right? Like think about it as a
hmm
kid. You come into life, you're excited, then life punches you in the stomach, then you turn angry. Then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna buckle down. F everybody. I don't need nobody. I'm gonna go do this.
Yeah,
And then you kind of going through it, and it's like it's not fun anymore. It sucks. You're kind of doing better, but you're not happy with who you are and how you're doing it. So you're just kind of meh, right? Then you find a little swagger. Year three, you're like, okay, enough with the mean stuff. I'm not happy. I'm not go lucky anymore, but feeling a little better.
right.
And you're starting to find who you are, right? You know that you know that you should be able to do this right, but it's not necessarily, there. And we saw it kind of find its path, and then you're almost too busy trying to figure it out that you don't have the swagger anymore. Then you go into year four of like, I was overthinking everything, boys. Okay, and that was what this interview felt
Time
like.
to let loose.
It's time to listen. We've gone through these stages, these development stages, and look, watching this interview, honestly, I know we love to hate on the Strickland situation and all these things, but it was like, man, it really feels like buying in and settling in and investing into this, and not just diving into this coaching carousel.
It's
Really
like it all
seems to,
paid off, huh?
yeah, just relax, just relax, let it happen. Like trust the process, like genuinely trust the process. The interview felt very refreshing. And I mean, I just kind of came with that whole analogy of the senior thing on my head. I think that was pretty damn good. But that's literally because that's how I felt like as a kid growing up. Like you
Yeah.
go through those stages, and now me as a dad, as a father, like it's like everything you've learned, you got pieces of it, and it formulates who you are now. Like go back when I started this show. Like
Hmm.
I've tamed up a little bit, I've sharpened up, I've cleaned up. There's still a little bit of nasty rawness that was their first kind of initial plunge, right? Then I had this part of my stage of this show where I was just like, F it, I'm just going to do whatever. And that had its part. So I've grown up too with Billy. Billy and I have been doing this
Yeah.
together.
No, it's
Right. Yeah.
it's a part of the journey. You know what I mean? It's high expectations at Florida, bro. The
Yeah.
expectations are super high, bro, and that can crush anybody. You know what I mean? But the resiliency of the team and Billy and just believing in the guys. You know what I mean? And the players believing in him shine through at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And now we're getting to see that. I said last year I wanted to see Billy loosen up and start to see his personality a little bit more. And I said we'll start to see that now that he has this thing going in that the right direction. And we're starting to see it now. Him going out there hitting the home run at the
Yeah.
baseball thing. That was a good moment for us to see some of his personality. Then his brother coming on the scene and coming out.
Shout out
The
Kurt,
pressure
baby.
had to be on every. Shout out to Kurt, man. That right there let me know the pressure was on everybody. You know what I mean? The fact that Kurt can come out now and be comfortable, and Florida is a big machine, man. I guarantee you, if we didn't have the season we had and the things aren't looking the way they're looking, he'd be a little apprehensive about coming out right now. But it's a good time, and I believe in what we're doing. Everybody's brought in, and it's needed, it's necessary. You know what I mean? We want to know about you. We want to know you got life, and as fans, it's good for us to see that. And it just speaks to where this team is at and how much they're grown together. Billy's comfortability with being in Florida, going through the bumps and bruises, you know, message boards and basement people and all
Yeah.
that
That
stuff.
was, yeah.
It's a full circle moment right now, and they have a great opportunity to go seize it. So I'm looking forward to that, man, for sure.
Looking, sounding, talking like an SEC coach, which is half the battle. Look, you got to
Yeah,
go win
half the
games, but
battle,
half the
man.
battle is looking like it and feeling like it. So it seems like he is right now. And look,
Definitely winning some people over.
yeah, to say the least, 100%.